So welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are in the world. Very, very pleased and happy to welcome you to this webinar on the transformative power of AI-driven Salesforce administration. My name is Vernon Keenan. I am an analyst who works at Salesforce-devops.net, and I hope you can go by there to see the work. And also I'm part of a new community called workdifferentwithai.com, which is focused on helping people work different with AI in your workplace. So along with me today, I have Bill Appleton, who's a co-founder and CTO of Metazoa. Bill, you want to introduce yourself a little?
Yeah, thanks, Vernon. I'm Bill Appleton. I'm the CTO at Metazoa, and I've been working with AI for a long time and with Salesforce for even longer. And so got some exciting stuff to talk about and show you today.
Very good. Okay, so here we go. On to our first slide. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This session is designed for Salesforce professionals seeking to harness the power of AI for organizational excellence. So today we're exploring the significance of technical debt in Salesforce orgs, the limitations of manual management, and how AI, particularly through Metazoa Snapshot, presents a transformative solution. So there are a lot of important reasons for addressing technical debt. It significantly hampers the efficiency and innovation of Salesforce orgs, and understanding its impact is the first step towards remediation. And Snapshot is at the forefront of AI-driven Salesforce administration. It offers a suite of tools designed to manage and mitigate technical debt, as well as to be your admin's best friend forever. So, and we look at AI's role in Salesforce org optimization. AI is not just a tool, it's becoming an essential ally in optimizing Salesforce orgs. It's providing insights and automation beyond normal human capabilities. So in today's agenda, we're going to cover the challenges of technical debt. We're going to introduce Snapshot's capabilities. We're going to have plenty of time for a live demo, and Bill's going to be able to share the insights and innovations that he's come up with. And then we're going to go into a Q&A session where you can ask Bill and I any questions about Salesforce and AI. So now get your coffee warmed up as we explore the transformative power of AI in managing Salesforce orgs and how you can leverage these innovations for your advantage. Okay. So like I said, it's your new BFF. We're transitioning from the broader impacts. We're looking at how Salesforce is evolving because of AI now. The role of Salesforce administrators has evolved significantly in the first place, though. You're super busy. You've got all these things to do. You've got a ton of tasks. You never know when it's going to stop, but you still are called upon to have strategic insights and innovations in your work. So AI technologies like those in Snapshot offer powerful solutions to these challenges. It can automate routine tasks and provide actionable insights, leading you away from the drudgery and more towards strategic impact within your organization. So by using AI, admins can streamline workflows, improve accuracy, and focus on higher value strategic initiatives. That's what I mean. It gets rid of the drudgery and lets you focus on what your job is all about. And we have testimonials from Metazoa customers and from other folks in the ecosystem where admins highlight how AI tools have revolutionized their work, reducing stress and enhancing job satisfaction. I think something we always have to be aware of when we're thinking about AI or employment in the Salesforce ecosystem is some of it's hard and there's a lot of information, a huge cognitive load. Anything we can do to reduce that is beneficial. So the trajectory of Salesforce administration is clear. AI is becoming an indispensable tool, empowering admins to achieve more with less effort. So as AI continues to reshape Salesforce administration, admins find themselves moving from a state of frustration to one of fulfillment, fully equipped to meet the demands of the modern digital workspace. I sure hope. So now let's get into understanding technical debt. It's a concept, while not unique to Salesforce, presents unique challenges within the Salesforce ecosystem. It's crucial for us to address this to maintain optimal performance and agility. And in fact, at the end of last year, I was thinking about the greatest threats to the Salesforce ecosystem, and I think mounting technical debt is up there, number one or number two in terms of problems that the ecosystem needs to deal with. So what is it? Technical debt refers to the extra development work that arises when code that is easy to implement in the short run is used instead of applying the best overall solution. So as a coder, I've been in this situation many, many times where I am confronted with a problem that is, for example, happens in several of my Apex classes. So it would be better to, for example, write a utility that would be able to do that little bit of code in the most efficient way possible. But I look at my watch and I go, oh my goodness, I have to get this billing run out. So I'm just going to, hack it and put the solution in and leave all of that optimization for later. That happens all the time. And I think AI, for me at least, gives me the power now to say, oh, well, I can use an AI to write that little code, that little segment, and I can do it better in the first place. So I think that we have that going on. But in Salesforce orgs, we have accumulated technical debt, and it leads to increased maintenance costs, reduced system flexibility, and delayed implementation of new features or functionalities. So in Salesforce orgs, technical debt often stems from rapid changes, like I was saying, you get something done right away, legacy system integrations, and the implementation of solutions without considering long-term impacts, such as replicating code all over the place. So identifying and quantifying technical debt in Salesforce orgs is challenging, often because it's invisible until you run across it. And this happens because people change jobs, you get new admins, and some of the institutional knowledge that is encoded in the org now is also encoded in someone's head, and that person's gone. So you have to do a remediation activity to try to figure out what's going on. So the consequences of that kind of neglect leads to system outages, decreased user satisfaction, and ultimately financial costs to the IT organization. So it's imperative to adopt strategies for managing technical debt proactively, ensuring Salesforce orgs remain efficient, scalable, and capable of adapting to new challenges. Understanding the scope and impact of technical debt in Salesforce orgs sets the stage for exploring solutions that can turn this challenge into an opportunity for growth and improvement. Now, don't worry, we're getting to the demo pretty soon here. So as we delve deeper, let's confront the inherent limitations of manual management in Salesforce orgs and the compelling case for integrating AI-driven solutions. So when you're managing an org manually, while it's a foundational activity, everybody needs to understand it and know how to do it, it becomes untenable as organizational complexity and data volume grow, leading to inefficiencies and increased error rates. So to try to scale your org with manual interventions and processes is limited, hindering the ability to respond to evolving business needs and technological advances swiftly. Now, AI offers a paradigm shift, providing the capability to analyze vast data sets, predict outcomes, and automate routine tasks beyond human capacity. The imperative for AI integration into Salesforce management is no longer optional. You really have to do it in order to attack the cognitive load on top of your admins and everybody using your org. They just simply don't know everything that's happening, and you need an aid like AI to help you do it. So AI-driven management systems for Salesforce can dramatically reduce errors, optimize operations, personalize customer interactions, and this all leads to improved outcomes. So moving towards an AI-driven approach, though, requires strategic vision, and the benefits in efficiency, scalability, and innovation to justify the investment. So the transition to AI management in Salesforce orgs represents a critical evolution in addressing the limitations of manual processes, setting the stage for new levels of efficiency and effectiveness. Yep. So there we go. We're talking about the demo now. I'm going to go over here and make Bill the presenter. There we go. Bill, take it away.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Can you see my screen? Is that working?
Yes.
All right, great. I'm going to show you, here we are in Snapshot. And if you're not familiar with Snapshot, it's for org management. We really focus on technical debt, on documentation and compliance, and security and permissions. And it's all really surrounding technical debt. And what you can do is you can drag these blue icons to the desktop and connect them to a Salesforce org and take a snapshot. And when you do that, we have these great tools and reports and applications for documentation and compliance, optimization and cleanup, and security and permissions. And so that's the big mission of Snapshot, the big three. And each one of these has been incredibly enhanced with AI. And I don't know if that's a coincidence or exactly how that works, but AI really speaks to these three issues in a big way. And once you create some Salesforce orgs on your desktop, you can also create some developer projects. These are, Salesforce DX projects. They're local. They might be a Git repository, so on and so forth. And then you can connect these different projects and orgs with these deployment arrows. And if you look at an arrow, if you right click on an arrow, you can see you can deploy metadata, you can move data between orgs, and so on and so forth, all kinds of magical things.
Now, Bill, I just wanted to do a little level setting on Snapshot for people. It's an app that you download and you run on your computer, right?
Yes.
And because of that, and because it's so targeted towards admins, it really kind of like opens up the sandbox of what you can do and gives you like a lot more interactivity into doing your management. Correct?
Yeah, I think so. It's a rich client solution. There's not a cloud behind it. It uses your desktop computer and your Salesforce org to do everything.
Okay. Very good.
And then one of the things I really want to focus on today is this new application, Metadata Studio. So you see, I right click on this org, and now when I run Metadata Studio, all of the prompts and engineering is going to be focused on that particular org. Now, if you're using Metadata Studio just to make your life easier and to run prompts, it's really easy to use. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to show you some of the prompts.
I just want to emphasize to people looking at this thing, how remarkable this user interface we're looking at is. You may have heard about Einstein Studio Prompt Builder that's supposed to be coming out and available at TDX in March, but this is an actual kind of version of that you can use today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really focused on Salesforce administration. I think Einstein Prompt Builder is really focused on, the individual contributors or salespeople and, that interface.
And the data
yeah, that's correct. That's correct. This is really focused on metadata. So that's right. And so let me just show you some of the prompts that are available here with our example prompts. So this one will look at an account and everything associated with the account and write a new description for the account, which, most sales guys are not writing descriptions for their account. And even if you look at the descriptions they do write, they're all over the place. This will let you build beautiful machine-generated account descriptions that can obey whatever policies your company has, however you want to focus on the customer, you want to focus on sales process, on competitive issues, whatever it is, you can rebuild all the descriptions in your org using this prompt, which is pretty remarkable, I think.
Yeah, that seems really important to me because that's something that frequently gets left off and is one of the key things for AI readiness is to have all of that documentation in there.
Yeah, and Salesforce is saying, get your data ready for AI. Metazoa is saying, use AI to get your data ready.
Yeah, why not?
So, and then here's another example. This will create account contact roles. And so if you remember, every account has contacts, and the role of the contact, might be the economic buyer, the influencer, the consultant, whoever it is. This will create beautiful contact roles for any account that needs them. So another really powerful thing to do. We can do a ton of stuff with Apex. I'm going to show you some of that live. This is, of course, all metadata. And here's another prompt I like to categorize technical support cases. We're going to get into that.
So you're really definitely bleeding into both areas, meaning admin and some data. You're doing metadata, and right there, the case, you're actually looking at data.
Yeah. And then there's things like account contact roles and just regular roles, hierarchy roles that are, it's kind of shades of gray. Is it data? Is it metadata? But we handle both, and you can transform on both.
Mm-hmm.
And we do amazing stuff with fields. You can create descriptions, security, compliance information, compliance groups. You can create validation rules. And we can also do amazing things with flows. Just this one is so simple. Document a flow with report. Well, imagine that you're taking over a new org and you've got a bunch of new flows or a bunch of new workflows. What do they do? And you can use this to write a report for every single one of them explaining what they do. So that's all in the realm of documentation.
Yeah, again, I think the overall theme that I'd like to remind everybody is how, imagine if you had to do all this stuff tediously manually. It just kind of the amplification aspect of the admin's knowledge in these situations is really important, I think.
Yeah, let me give you an example here. This prompt will create new flow node descriptions. So it'll create a description for the flow and then a description for every one of the nodes. And so you're a busy admin, you've got a new flow or you need it documented, just come here and click the submit button, select any one of your flows.
And now we're actually doing a live thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just so people understand, what you did is the app communicated directly with the API, correct?
Yeah, to OpenAI in this case.
Right. So from your desktop to OpenAI directly.
And so here's what it did. It added descriptions to the record updates, record lookups, record creates. Here's the description for the entire flow. And now what you can do is you can validate that and do a validating deployment against the current org. And
we're waiting for Salesforce metadata API right now, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And it will
notoriously slow sometimes.
Well, especially in the mornings here when everyone's logging in. No errors were reported. And now I can either deploy that asset for real or export it for Salesforce DX or something like that. So easy to use. You can also just copy these out and go paste them into setup, whatever you need to do. And what I'm going to show you here in a minute is you can use prompt automation to do that to all of the flows in your org. But let me just spend 1 minute looking at prompt engineering. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new prompt. And just like that, I've got a user question, and I can say, show me some Apex code and some XML and CSV report. And I can run that. And now it's communicating again to OpenAI.
And it also sent a bunch of stuff up there with it, right?
Yes. And so that's what, so this should look familiar, right? This is the
Mhm.
system message, the user message, and here's the assistant answer. And you can see it gave me Apex code, it gave me XML, and it gave me a CSV report. And I can reorganize all of this content. And so what you're looking at is we're using markdown fencing to divide the reports from the code and the text and the different parts of the prompt. And it
Mhm.
gives you enormous clarity when you're writing these prompts, and it enables these enterprise use cases to do org transformation and
Mhm.
XML transformation. So I just thought, for what it's worth, I would show that. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
not going to get into prompt engineering that much.
but I think, well, you said markdown fencing. I think I just make sure that people understand that what you're doing is a very important thing in prompt engineering is what's called delimiting. So you have to delimit the various parts of the prompt so that the LLM can understand, what part you're referring to. And that's you're actually so you're taking all these different elements and you're putting the correct delimiters between them, and then sending that prompt to the LLM so that it's able to understand the different
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah, absolutely. And watch, I'll select this piece of content. Let's modify it. Let's make it a metadata asset. Let's select a one of my um, custom applications, and I can select that, and it brings the XML directly into the prompt. And so it's not only doing all the fencing, it's integrated with your Salesforce org, both coming and going.
Right. And all of this prompt engineering and data injection and all the stuff that you're doing here before you're actually sending the information to OpenAI basically is designed to keep the hallucinations to a minimum and also to increase the accuracy and the performance of the output.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like I said, I'm not going to do a big session on prompt engineering, but I just wanted to show this is where you can take our example prompts, you can customize them, you can build your own prompts, and then they show up in the prompt library, and then you can share them with everybody in your org. So the next thing I wanted to do is to show you some real prompt automation here. And this is so powerful because you can run an individual prompt and get value out of it, but if it's really working for you, you can apply it to your entire org and transform the org, document the org, fix problems in the org, generate assets in the org. So it really is remarkable. So this is a little prompt to create validation rule descriptions. And if your validation rules are like my validation rules, you don't have descriptions for them, which is tough because the admins need those to understand at a glance, what does that formula do? And so you see, we have an example question here with an example validation rule that has no description. And we have an example answer here with a validation rule that has a beautiful description. And so this is called few shot learning. And this is where you teach the language model how you want the answer to look. And then here's the real question: to please create me a detailed description for the validation rule. Here are the best practices. And here's the validation rule. And as you can see, this particular validation rule has this little asterisk over here on the right. What that means is the prompt engineer has set this up so that you need to select a validation rule when you run this. And so when you run this, you will select a rule here, one of my opportunity validation rules.
Okay.
And here's the answer, beautiful description. That's what you want. Now you can validate this against the org, et cetera. But instead of that, let's go on to prompt engineering. So again, if you're just using this stuff, it's really simple. You can just go here, select this prompt, and go to prompt automation, and then create a automation for this prompt. And now when you select, you can select all of your validation rules. I'm only going to select 4 in the interest of time. And now you can create that automation. And so what's happening is we took the base prompt that we started with, and now we're automating it. and we're applying multiple validation rules back to that base prompt. And you see them coming in now off the wire, and there they are.
Oh, we lost Bill there for a while. Give him a chance to come back. There we go. We lost you for a second there, Bill.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that we created 4 of these validation rules off that original base prompt.
So I think here's the concepts I want to reinforce for people here. Basically, you're kind of putting this prompt into kind of like a little mini software development lifecycle. And I think for admins and people who are thinking about using generative AI, this is a really, really important concept where you have taken a prompt and you've worked with it, you perfected it, it does what you want. And now you're actually kind of making it like a subroutine or a function or something. And now you're calling it over and over again in a loop on the data in your org. I think, this is tremendous because not only do you have a prompt engineering platform here where you can share these prompts in your org, but now you've got a way to kind of run them through the whole org to kind of do an automation with them. So
yeah, exactly. So what you're doing is you're maximizing the benefit of AI like crazy. You're applying it to your org and you're harnessing all that power.
Mm-hmm.
And the neat thing about Metadata Studio is it's integrated with our deployment tools and our data migration tools. So for example, if I go back to the main screen, here's the dev project I just created. Now I can go into my deployment tools and see, here's the validation rules that I just built. And now I can look at those one at a time and say, see the new description on the left? And on the right, there's no description. That's what I changed. And now I can go into my deployment tools and I can validate those and deploy those, or pass this whole thing off to my release management team. So that's really important that you can see the changes, verify the changes, and funnel them into release management.
Excellent. Now going back to the Metadata Studio, this list on the left, I presume some of these are coming with Snapshot now?
Yeah, so these are all the example prompts. We've got about 100 examples. Okay. And the idea is, think about this. A big limitation is I can only really talk about standard objects. We can't build example prompts for your custom objects and your corporate policies. We don't know that stuff. But you can come in and duplicate these and modify them, add your corporate policies, hook them up to your custom objects, and do anything you can imagine, either with data or metadata.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. But they've got over 100 starting points.
Exactly. And like this one for opportunity contact roles, we can check that one real quick. Here you just select one of your accounts. What's interesting about this, though, is if you look under the hood, it just lets me select an account, and then this generates the contact roles. But the prompt engineer is able to really change this prompt. And when the prompt engineer comes up with the account, you can select the account and all of these attached assets. And so you get a complete 360-degree view of the account that then just generates the account contact role. So that's really important. Another important thing is dynamic compression. For some language models and for some accounts, this is going to be too much data to load. And so we will dynamically reduce the size of it until it fits within that token limit. And so this is kind of the inside baseball of how to engineer these things, but it definitely does a good job of running prompts like that. All right, I want to talk about one other issue really quick, which is classification. Classification is a really powerful technology. And I'm going to show you an example where I'm going to classify my technical support cases. So, customer calls in, your support rep answers the tech support case. How does that work exactly? And what we're able to do is find my PowerPoint. What we're able to do is so over here on the left is the case, and then we're going to use prompt automation to divide that into category classifications. So some of the cases are just feature requests. Others are really problems with our documentation or bug reports. Some are a problem that's answered by the support rep, and that should be a solution for our knowledge base. And then some are just junk. Some are just technical debt. And the way this prompt works is the AI will throw the case into different folders, and then you can decide what to do with those. So you might send feature requests to product management or the software team. You might create solutions out of the XML for the solutions and migrate those into your org. So just think about this. If you wanted to start a knowledge base for your company, this prompt would create all of the solutions for your knowledge base overnight. I mean, it's just amazing, really. And then the technical debt you should probably delete or whatever. So just to show you this really quickly, let's see, with Snapshot. So here's our technical support cases. You can go to prompt automation. There were 41 cases in this situation. You see in the lower left what all the different cases do. And now you can export these multiple reports, and here they are. We have customer solutions, technical debt cases that just should be deleted probably, feature requests, sales problems. It categorizes all of your cases into these groups, but you can specify the categories. Your policies determine all of this. You can run this on any object whatsoever. So think about any complex system in your org that you're having questions about. This thing will organize it, will move all that information out into different categories. It's really, really, really powerful. All right, so that is.
Well, we got a few more minutes here. Do we have any? Can you give us any examples of the technical debt discovery with reporting?
Yes, absolutely. So let me just talk you through one. I think is the simplest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, take email templates. Snapshot has great tools to tell you this email template hasn't been used in 2 years. It's not connected to anything. It can tell you all this stuff about its usage and whether it's being used and so on and so forth. That's great. But now we can tell you whether it's written poorly, whether it's violating the merge fields, whether it's violating your corporate policy for external communications, or has the wrong color for your corporate logos. I mean, it's amazing. It's an entire different dimension to looking at technical debt. It's not just the usage, it's the quality.
So kind of go through this. If I wanted to do that, if I wanted to write a custom prompt that would evaluate my email templates, kind of take me through the steps on how that would happen.
Sure. So you'd start here in Metadata Studio, and we've got an example prompt that will look at email templates by quality. And really, you would just have to come up with what you wanted the test to be. Is it?
So I could just add a phrase to that prompt, like verify that our logo is in there or something.
Yeah, and the way that actually this works is we give the language model custom words so they won't be confused with anything else. So medium_quality. And then if you go to the prompt engineering, what you'll see is that we have those words as special subfolders. And so on the one hand, we tell the language model to give us the prompts with these words. And then on the other hand, we sort them into those folders. It's pretty simple, but the power is just amazing because now you can have any policy you want to divide up and describe the issues with your email templates.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like what you've done here is you've kind of the thing that's impressive to me is how many little controls you have on the input and the output of the LLM. Like here you're able to put all the prompt information together into one into one big prompt, and you've got all these GUI things in your interface to let you do that. And then when it comes back, you're able to like slice and dice the output.
Yeah, and actually that brings me to kind of, this is an overview of the prompt engineering pipeline. And the big issue, I think, is that the Metadata Studio prompt engineering platform is integrated with prompt automation, and then that's connected to our best-of-breed deployment tools and data migration tools. That really makes it a professional system so that you can build all these changes, pass them off to your release management team, and deal with in a very practical manner and a safe manner, transform that org and make sure that you're really moving it in the direction you want to do it. But and we showed examples here of like the Apex dictionary is a single report. The case classification was multiple reports. We did the validation rules, which were created developer project. We did the account contact roles, which were a data set. And, so you can really do a lot of stuff with the outputs of prompt engineering and, transform your org, basically.
Neato. We got any other examples of finding and reducing technical debt? You got to give us some other examples.
Yeah. So I've got a bunch of use cases here. Let me just go through this slide. I think it's worth mentioning. So what's new? What's totally net new and has not been possible in the past and is possible now is policy-driven transformations of Salesforce. Your account descriptions, you can write a policy for how they have to be. Compliance, technical debt. What is technical debt? Describe it and go find it. And those are the options, those are the objects that have it. And so this is really new. And it's really exciting because corporations have policies. They need Salesforce to obey the policies. This will do it. You can literally transform your org with this.
Well, that becomes more and more important as orgs become critical into business operations. So we've got Encino for finance, used to have Viva, and we got other things for life sciences and healthcare, and all of these things need are regulated by external regulators. So there has to be compliance rules.
That's a great example. We've got a prompt which will run through custom objects looking for GDPR violations. And because you're supposed to have your security group and your classification group and your security, what do they call it? Security compliance things all set up for those fields. And so it'll scan them all and tell you where you're missing holes in your GDPR compliance. So here you asked about use cases. Here's some of the ones we have for technical debt. Here's some of the ones for documentation and for security and permission. So those are the big three groups of things that Snapshot is focused on. And again, just to say, this is just our take on how to do this with standard objects. Our real customers are going to have much more important use cases with their custom objects, with their policies and the things that they want to enforce in the org.
Why don't you give me the thing back, Bill, and we'll
okay, great.
You do a couple of concluding slides.
Let me see where that is.
It's in your Zoom.
Yeah. Make host.
There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to share my screen again. Go over here to this one and go to the next slide. So, I think this demo really reinforced how AI is really our path forward for growing orgs in the way that we were just talking about, being able to do things like to achieve critical function in your organization and to have system of record type data in there. And AI is rapidly becoming an integral part of the Salesforce ecosystem. With tools like this, and as we're going to see this spring with TDX, it's going to be in the under the hood everywhere. And in an increasingly data-driven world, AI's ability to process vast amounts of information and provide insights is indispensable for making informed decisions and driving business growth. So incorporating AI into Salesforce strategy transforms how organizations engage with their customers, manage operations, develop products, which all leads to enhanced efficiency and effectiveness. And organizations need to prepare for this AI future. You must invest in skills, tools, and processes that align with AI-centric approach to Salesforce management to fully leverage the benefits of AI. And we're all embracing AI now. For me, at least, it's for a competitive advantage. By adopting AI, Salesforce professionals can also not only solve problems more effectively, but also anticipate and address future challenges, giving you that competitive edge. And I think you definitely need your own roadmap for AI integration. Developing a clear roadmap involves understanding your current capabilities, identifying areas for improvement, and strategically implementing AI solutions for maximum benefit. So the path forward is clear. AI is not just an option, but turning into a necessity for Salesforce excellence, offering a blueprint for innovation, efficiency, and strategic advantage in the digital age. So here's our conclusion. We've talked about the challenges of technical debt, the limitations of manual management, and how AI, through tools like Snapshot, offer groundbreaking solutions. And the integration of AI into Salesforce management really no longer optional. It's essential for operational excellence and competitive advantage. And I'm sure the folks over at Snapshot would love for you to come on over and take a test drive. They have a free trial program. And so whether it's your new trial of Snapshot, doing AI training, engaging with our community, we all invite you to take the next step on your AI journey. So thank you, everybody, for attending. You can contact Metazoa here to get your 14-day free trial and to get your information. And now the floor is open for questions. So, Bill, I think we have the first question here from an anonymous attendee was, are there any plans to move to a cloud-based application? Bill.
Yeah, well, we have a cloud. It's Salesforce, and that's what we use for our collaboration. But we have so many, big enterprise customers and government customers where security is so important. We really have a zero trust security model, and you can put a network monitor on it or whatever. We don't have a cloud. We don't have a database other than, it's a very collaborative application, but we use the Salesforce org where it was installed for that. So the answer is no.
Okay. And I think I tried to point out there are benefits to the way you've done it. You've got speed benefits, you've got integration benefits, you've got the security benefit. And also I think it's different. It attacks a different silo, or a different, not silo, but a different aspect of Salesforce usage, the administration side, more so than the cloud-based solutions that are trying to get it more towards every user, to deploy it for every user. So I think these are really kind of very high impact tools that kind of require the additional security. Somebody's asking, is Studio included in the current license, or do you just need to upgrade your current installed package?
The latest managed package has the custom objects to save the prompts. And so do upgrade to the latest managed package, and then Metadata Studio is there, and also intelligent search. But there's also the AI is used in 5 or 6 places elsewhere in the product. We didn't really get into that.
Okay. And generally, somebody's saying, do we use data to prepare data sets for migration? I guess he's asking, can AI Snapshot in particular help with data migration? I can
Yeah.
imagine how
So
ChatGPT would.
yeah. So what you saw today was that Metadata Studio will build a data set for data migration. Also, though, in the data migration tooling, we do use AI in two places. One is if you're building SOQL filters, you can write those, and AI will do a beautiful job of writing filters for you. And the other place is when you get those obtuse error messages back from Salesforce, you can ask AI to explain them, and it does a great job of that. So that's kind of three connections to AI to the data migration.
The next question is, do we need to set up this AI configuration? Maybe I'll modify that to, why don't you kind of explain to us how who's paying for the AI service, and how if there's any key setup or any kind of setup that somebody needs to do when they're using Snapshot AI features?
Yeah, so you can use, we have a free AI key that you can use if you want to. If usage becomes too extreme on that, we'll have to maybe put some limits on it. But so far, we're doing okay. We just have, if we wake up one day and there's a gazillion dollars on that service, we're going to have to make a change. You can put your own key in, own OpenAI key in, and some people have advanced services or enterprise connections with OpenAI and may want to do that. So, but if you're just coming in to kick the tires and to use AI in the context of our regular product, then it's all free.
And I think also it's worth mentioning that this is using the OpenAI API, which has a terms of service associated with it, that they're not going to be using any of the data that you send them for training.
Yeah, we do have a checkbox too to anonymize personal data. We might even expand that, but I don't think there's an actual security benefit to that. I'm not aware of one. I don't think it's a problem, but if it might be something that customers feel like they need to do. So it's there.
Yeah, I think masking could certainly be a policy that somebody would have for sending data out. And yeah, there's research on the effect of masking in the performance of LLMs. So I think we're not quite sure what the impact of all the masking is. And but I think you do have that assurance, though, of using the API, that they're basically going to be throwing all your data away after 30 days with their compliance procedure. Let me see here. We got some, Kurt says, hi all, thanks and great stuff. Bill mentioned earlier that you can write validation descriptions. Please provide an example where you can upload back to the system.
Oh, that's what I hoped I did. Remember where I showed that?
I think I saw that. I think I saw that.
The 4 descriptions for the opportunity, and then we went into the deployment tools. So here's the deal: if you're building new metadata, you can create a developer project for like Salesforce DX or whatever, and then that can go straight into our deployment tools. And if you're creating new data records, they can either be updated or created, and that uses the data migration tool. So if you have any questions or want to go through that with us or on a support call, we can do that.
Okay. Okay, we answered that live. And I hope you understand this one. Any news of key size increases coming so we can run this on larger Apex classes or flows?
Yes, we just enabled GPT-4 Turbo, which has 128K input, but only a 4K output. So you're going to have to deal with that. But to your question, so one of the things I didn't really show you was we have a new capability which will document the XML envelope. So if you include a flow, we'll write out documentation for all the elements on that flow, which is just amazing. And you get incredible results. But that's an example where the flow might be gigantic and our documentation of it might also be pretty big, but then the results could be a report on what that flow does, which fits in the 4K token limit. So the token thing is going to keep changing and getting bigger over time, and we'll keep supporting it.
Yeah, it's one of the most important advances that they've been doing, I think, at OpenAI is to increase the token window size. I've really noticed a big difference lately in its ability to actually remember things better. I got a couple more questions here. So, you got any good stories for us, Bill, on how AI-driven insights from Snapshot has led to real-world improvements in any customer orgs?
Yeah. I was on a support call with a customer that had a whole bunch of validation rules on an opportunity. And actually that's where that prompt came from. And what they said is we're worried that they're conflicting, that sometimes they're at cross purposes and they're doing the opposite things, and then there's errors and weird stuff's happening. What tool, how can you find out what that problem is? And my knee-jerk reaction was, I have no idea how to find out. I have no idea how to figure that out. And then I thought, well, wait a second. Let's go just grab all their validation rules, throw them into a prompt, and then ask, tell me if there's any conflicts. And it wrote out a beautiful report with all the conflicts and all the issues. And so there's been a lot of moments like that. And, we're not in Kansas anymore. This is really new stuff.
Interesting. So I got one more question for us here. Can you give us, I was asking specifically, well, not thank you yet. So how does, once again, I want you to kind of reinforce your security model. So when you're taking all this data and you're sending it up to OpenAI, why don't you just give us one more time about exactly how you're handling that and how keeping your data secure?
Yeah. So first of all, the Snapshot application itself is a desktop application, and it uses a sandbox folder on your computer to store snapshots and other information. But all of the communication is between your personal computer and your Salesforce accounts. And so we can't lose your data. We don't have your data. We don't have a database. We don't have a cloud. So it's a very pure model in that sense.
So you can run the security yourself on your corporate perimeter and desktop policies and so forth.
Yeah, and people have, they have Git repos behind the firewall and stuff like that. We work great with all of that. And, we've had banks and financial institutions put network monitors on Snapshot and prove to themselves that, in fact, it's just talking from their computer to their Salesforce account. So that's good. With OpenAI, we talk directly to the OpenAI endpoint, and we only send the prompts that you've developed to them. And there's an option to automatically mask personal information in the prompts. And so there's also an option to turn off OpenAI entirely in Snapshot. So, that's it. You've got to make your own determination whether you think their service is safe. But you don't have to trust us, but, you do have to trust them. And you do have to trust Salesforce. So that's how it works.
Excellent. Okay, well, now I think we can say thank you to everybody for attending our webinar today. And Bill, I appreciate you giving us the wonderful demo, and appreciate the audience very much for giving us those wonderful questions.
Well, and thank you, Vernon, for all of your insights. You're the key analyst in this space, and and really doing important work.
I'm blushing. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, no, anybody wants to know more about me, come on over to salesforcedevops.net. We have another project that's not just me. It's the workdifferentwithai.com. It's a whole community of people we're building, and I'm just a part of that. I'm not, but over on DevOps, that's the Vern show over there. and invite anybody to come on over and subscribe, get email updates. And I think you can contact Metazoa to get more information about Snapshot and the AI stuff. And I just want to congratulate you, Bill, for having one of the most advanced AI capabilities in the Salesforce ecosystem right now. Other vendors come up to me and I think they're a little jealous. So, it's I think I think it's fantastic how somebody with such an awareness of what's going on inside of the org has been able to create this library of prompts that lets you, take care of that for you and is executed on some of the, I think, important enterprise AI visions that really you're ahead of the game. So
Oh,
congratulations.
thank you. And send us your great prompt ideas. We'll work them up for you and put them in the library.
Okay, so thank you everybody for attending the Metazoa Salesforce-DevOps.net webinar today, and have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.